Hello and welcome to this Project in a Box video tour. In this session we're going to be having a look at the new Praxis framework methodology, which is provided now as standard across the range of Project in a Box tools. So this joins the family of methods that we provide already. This now makes 12 method templates, most of which are available for free to all customers. Some of those we have to pay royalties on, so there's a small charge for them. It fits in very nicely in being quite a holistic method, and in fact it's the first of a set, a bit like our generic methods, scaled for different complexities of project. So this is aimed at low complexity projects currently. You can do some sort of context tailoring within the method materials provided, but there will be following on methods for larger, more complex projects and in fact programs as well. A bit about the Praxis framework for those of you that aren't aware. It's a relatively new addition to the family of methodologies available online, put together to try and address a fundamental problem, which is that most of the frameworks and methodologies and competence arrangements that are in place for project management, program management, portfolio management tend to be a bit fragmented. They focus on a particular area. Praxis is trying to bring all that together into one place. It's cross-referenced, linked together across that whole range of areas. So we have information within the method around content of the discipline, application and experience. So there's lots of guidance available, there's lots of articles and information, and lots of tools to help you implement PPM across the entire organization. Okay, so we're going to start off by having a look at the Praxis method within Community Edition. Community Edition is available for free for anybody who wants it to download it and use it, and Praxis is included within there. So if we open an existing project, we'll find we have our Praxis example. If you're an upgrader, a more recent upgrader, you wouldn't have the example here already. You'll need to go and create a new project. That's very straightforward to do. You can just come to here, and in fact you can create as many projects as you want into Community Edition, so you can have multiple projects using the same or different methods. So we're going to do a Praxis 2 one here. We're going to pick the appropriate method template and create. Nice and quick and easy to do. Now we can go back and open our new project, and there we go. What we find is a home page which gives us access to the full range of guidance materials available online for Praxis. This is using the same sort of menu structure as is in the website, so we can jump to particular areas we're interested in. If we want to know about knowledge, for example, we can click on there, and it's going to take us off to the website and open the appropriate page. Of course, once we're in here, we can navigate using the same structured menu that's here in the method, or we can use the method template that's set up here to take us to the particular bits as we need them. So let's go and look at the project that's been set up here. Got a couple of different places to get to that, and we can see now the Praxis framework model here. Now this, as I say, has already had some context applied to it, so it's aimed at simpler, smaller projects. It doesn't have some of the processes that you may use in more of a program scale or a more complex project scale. So what we do is we simply click on the process we're interested in, identification in this case. That opens up a detailed diagram explaining what's going to happen during the identification process, and some other navigation elements taking us to the documents or the guidance for this process. So let's have a look at the documents for this process. Opens up our normal Community Edition document window here with the documents available for this process and some hints and tips about them. A number of these are provided with templates. There aren't templates for some things because we don't think necessarily that a template is appropriate. In terms of the mandate, this can be very simple. It can be an email just identifying basically what the outlying idea for the project is, and appointments can be done by emails, etc. So trying to minimize templates to where they are essential. We do have some templates though. There's some of them are going to be Excel templates like this, and these ones in fact. Here we've got in the brief we've got a traditional sort of Word template, so we can double click to view that, and it brings up the blank template for reading. If we want to make some changes to the template here, we're using a document management system built into Community Edition here, so we simply check the file out. It opens as a checked out copy. We can then make some changes to this, so I can put something in. Just a nice little simple thing like that, and save and close the file. You'll see it's shown now as being a checked out version to me, and here I can therefore check it back in. I could add a description if I wanted to about what I'd done to this particular version of the file, and there we have that version controlled. So when we now look at the current version in the tree, we get the one with our changes in it, and obviously we can work our way through like that, documenting the project. We can add new content to the project nice and easily just by dragging and dropping that in. So let's go and find something over here. Simply drag it onto the form. That's going to put it into the current document that we have selected, in this case brief. We can rename the file if we want to, give it a description if we want to, or just press OK. And it's taken a copy of that original file and put it in here to form part of the documentation. So we can build the documentation for this document within the management structure as we go. And of course, as we then progress through the process, it's going to show us the appropriate things at each point with whichever latest versions or history or the files that have been saved into that place. We of course provide empty placeholders, so you can also put in other things as we discussed, mandate, project teams, etc. An important part of this, as I mentioned about context a few times, is that this is aimed at a typical small, low complexity project, but that's going to be, that can mean anything. That can depend entirely on the sort of organization you are, what you're used to, as to what sort of documentation would be appropriate. So what we have here is a helpful context guide, and this shows you the documentation that's included in the standard low complexity project. We've got the documents and which templates, or whether there in fact may not be templates included in some of them, and some of them you see are optional. So here in scope, which starts appearing in sponsorship and definition process, we have some things included always and some things that are optional. So for example, you may choose to add a blueprint or a vision statement if that's going to be appropriate for the sort of project you're running. We've got some advice about that here which we can read, and we can also of course follow the advice available to us on the website. So we can use this here. Let's just go off and have a look at that definition process and the documents for it. And here's our scope, and it says consider creating some of these extra things if they're appropriate. So we can go and look at the guidance. That's going to take us off to the guidance for this process, which will have some information about that. And we can then, if we want to, add those extra things in. So as discussed, the scope will initially just have the standard things. If we want to add extra things in, we can do that from the add file here. Now we've dragged and dropped some things in already. This is exactly the same. You can browse to include any other files, but we also include a template library. Now the template library will have templates that we expect you to use many times on the project. You might have lots of benefits, you might have lots of different product specifications you need to include, or progress reports, etc. But it also provides the other blank templates that you may want to extend into for handling context issues. So here's our blueprint or vision statement. We can include that, and now we've got that extension for perhaps a slightly more complex, rich project environment where we're going to include a blueprint as well. So we can do some simple tailoring within the framework here, and we just simply follow our way through here, updating all the materials. I also meant to point out to you that in each file, because currently Praxis isn't going to be a particularly well known method to lots of people, it's very extensively documented and so easy to pick up. And actually, if you're familiar with Prince2, familiar with the APMs PMBoK, then this should actually be pretty straightforward for you to pick up. But there may be some learning points need to be taken up. And as you send these files out to people, each one of them also includes a link for you to go off and look for the particular guidance on that particular document type. So you can, even if you're sending it out to a supplier who don't have the links built into their methods, they can still come and get that latest content directly from the file you've sent them and see what it is they're supposed to be doing with their benefit profile. So we haven't included these hints and tips about what you might put in each area in the templates, because if they need to be updated, if the guidance material changes and best practice changes, you'll be fixed with ones in your Word document. This way you can come to the latest available content immediately on the website, and that's a really positive, forward-thinking way of going. Pretty much everyone has web access these days, and therefore you can always get to that latest guidance. So that's the Praxis framework for Simplest Lifecycle project. Pretty straightforward to use, very simple to use in Community Edition. It also includes, of course, a number of other tools, as it always does with our systems. We've got schedule, risk and issue registers using our own free planner tool. That's included with your Community Edition installer, so you don't need Microsoft Project or anything like that to be able to work into your projects. All the templates are provided and the tools to open them. So our schedule opens in Planner. Nice simple template. We can then extend that as we need to. So pretty straightforward to use. Let's also have a quick look at the same type of project in the main application, our multi-user platform, and see the couple of differences and extensions that you get there. Okay, so this is a project built from exactly the same method template, but here we are in multi-user, small team, or enterprise edition, and therefore we get some slightly extra sort of things. So centrally we keep a set of project properties, and those can be automatically fed into our files as we start to work on them. So let's come to our brief, very much like we did before. Check it out. This time it's updating properties as it tells us here, and therefore it feeds into our template automatically the standard set of properties held centrally for the project. If they change, they're going to be fed out next time we change the document for the new ones, and these will just help us get some quality and standardization of terminology and roles, etc., into our templates. In this version you can personalize these if you want to, so you can put your own particular properties into the system and have them fed out into these templates if you want to. And these templates are all available for you to work on. You can personalize and customize them yourself if you want to. They're covered by Creative Commons license, so there's no problem in doing that. So in that case we've checked that out, made some changes. We're going to check it back in just like we did in the other version, and we've got that in. Now, one of the key things that people really like about the multi-user platforms is that it's rich for reporting. So it takes exactly the same data that we've been working on in our project files and makes that available into reporting. So if I come and run a new project report, I'm just going to come and load a standard, what we call poster report up here, and run that, and it's going to package all the various bits of information from within the method, from the various templates, task risks and issues, finances, etc., up and put them in a report for me. I don't have any images available yet for this project. I've not put any in, but as soon as I start putting them in, whether they might be site photos or organograms or wiring schematics or whatever, picture of a Coca-Cola can or whatever it is that we're dealing with, that'll appear in the images area. I haven't obviously updated my finances yet, but that again will appear, and as we start to update our various bits of property information, all of this will start to feed through. Same with our task risks and issues. We simply update the file, check it out, update it, check it back in, and then immediately it will be available for our reporting. Same with our finances, graphs and charts and other such things down here. We're feeding out lessons information from the lessons log as well. So all of those things immediately available into reporting, not only at the project level but at the portfolio level, so merging that together across multiple projects as well. that was an introduction to Praxis within Community Edition and Small Team Enterprise Edition from Project in a Box. I'd encourage you to download that. You can do that from our website now and get going. Try it out, and we'd love to hear some feedback about it. I know the people at Praxis would as well. There's a feedback section on the website, so you can provide advice about how the methodology should move forward. It's driven by the community, and that's always a good thing to see. Thank you.